The U.S. economy expanded at a solid pace last year and is coming into 2026 on a firm footing. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Essentially, the economy has once again surprised us with its strength.
That's Jerome Powell. Enjoy it while it lasts. The Fed is pausing rate cuts for the first time since July, and President Trump isn't happy about it, writing on Truth Social that the Fed is hurting America and our national security and costing America hundreds of billions of dollars in unnecessary interest expenses. Now the president is turning his focus to what comes next.
As you saw yesterday with the Fed, I'm not a fan of his. He said that inflation essentially is not a factor. It's really been pretty amazing. We're going to be announcing the head of the Fed, who that will be, and it'll be a person that will, I think, do a good job. We're paying far too much interest in the Fed. The Fed rate's too high, unacceptably high. We should have the lowest.
Now, of course, we're going to go to Larry for all the deep dirt on this thing because he knows this stuff. But I want to first bring up something that Taylor raised in the first hour, which is the president's view that he'd like to see rates 2 to 3 points lower than the Fed's rate right now. Taylor,
now defer to Larry. To me, that seems crazy. If we're at 3.5 to 3 3/4 and 2 to 3 points lower, you're looking at 1% Fed funds rate, which to me doesn't make sense if we have Atlanta Fed GDP of north of 4% still and high growth. You don't need an economy with lower rates if you're growing. Your thoughts?
I was with you until that last 5 or 6 words there. It's like I would say, be not afraid. Let your heart not be troubled. Look, with Mr. Trump, you sometimes have to seasonally adjust for the embellishment factor.
Okay, Brian called it.
He's Greenlanding it.
It's Greenland.
He's Greenlanding it. That's what I'm saying.
I like
Dying for that.
I like that. That's very good. It's like, okay, so America's the hottest economy in the world. Totally right. And then he'll say we've got $20 trillion coming in from overseas. But the official White House website says it's a little less than 10. So he sometimes embellishes. That's what is it? Take it seriously, but not literally. Is that what the line is?
Okay.
But look, take a rip at the ball. I mean, Myron dissented, good for him. Waller dissented, good for him. Can I just read these numbers, these inflation numbers? The core PCE. 2.3% annually. I'm doing 3-month changes. 3-month changes are very important. 3-month consumer price index, okay? The 3-month consumer price index on core is 1.6. On top line is 2.1. Okay, what's wrong with that? Unit labor costs, we talked about that. It's just slightly above 1%, so there's no labor wage inflation. Goods prices, Powell obsesses about tarifflation. We never had it. Somebody asked him, has it moved through the system? It never got to the system, dummy. Goods prices, both core and top line, both 12-month change and 3-month change, are all lower than the Fed's 2% target. We never had it. And he's been obsessing about it from day one with hundreds of board staff and so forth and so on. So there's room for lower rates.
That's backward looking. Copper record, oil up, dollar weak. 5-year break-even inflation rate is now at 2.5. I know that sounds low, but prior to COVID, it was 1.64. 2.5 is the highest it's been since August.
Dagan, but copper, look, I'm not afraid of growth, unlike you. I'm not afraid of growth.
It's still inflationary.
It is not inflationary.
Record prices for copper infiltrate every corner of this economy.
It's terrific, and they'll be offset by record low prices in energy, which are bumping now because of Iran, but basically are going to stay down into the 50s. Look, I like growth. Copper says we're growing. I like that a lot. Silver says we are growing. I like that a lot.
Weak dollar.
Here's the problem. Did you get my dollar chart? Did that show up?
No, I saw your dollar chart.
Yeah, I know, but you did this to make it look not so bad.
It was a 5-year.
You did this.
It was a 5-year chart. And basically, the dollar has wiggled and wobbled, but it's held around 100. I mean, yeah, over 5 years. You can't just, look at 30 days or something like that. We should promote a stronger king dollar. I agree.
You said that.
Loose
Okay.
lips sometimes.
All right.
Sink ships. There, there it is.
4-year low.
It ain't the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, barely. But I'm just saying, here, the Fed model says growth causes inflation, which is basically what Dagan is saying. I don't agree.
No, I'm not saying
If it was a demand side growth, like.
I'm saying higher prices are inflation. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, let me finish, Dagan. This is a productivity-led boom from lower tax rates and deregulation. All right. The incentive model of growth produces more goods. That is not inflationary. Now, in the Biden years, you spent $7 trillion. That was demand side, literally mainlining it into their checking accounts. And that was not goods producing at all. This is different. And the Fed models all assume that growth causes inflation. And that has to change. And my great hope is that whomever the president appoints to the Fed transforms that. Throw those models out and make the necessary staff changes from the bureaus at the Fed, so you'll bring in fresh, new blood.
Right. So let me bring you into this. We tried desperately to get the names of who the next guy is going to be out of Larry. He does not have loose lips. He does not sink ships. Okay, we're not going to get that out of him. But Jackie, you could have a scenario. Whoever the president chooses, you could have a scenario where Jerome Powell is still on the board. He's still a voting member, right? You still have all the other folks who are there who paused in January. Even if you overhaul the Fed, it doesn't mean 2026 is going to be a year where you're going to get a lot of rate cuts, right?
Not necessarily.
And does that, are you worried about that, or should we not be worried about that?
Not necessarily the way you're laying it out, but this is a stock market that thinks about the here and now and didn't like that it didn't get a rate cut yesterday, so it might be throwing a little bit of a tantrum today. And that's why the president then is coming out and saying, oh, don't worry, next week I think I'm going to tell you who my Fed chair, to try to reassure the market a little bit, whether or not those cuts actually come or don't come, but they should come, because his pick, I think, will make the changes, Larry, that you're talking about, or even at least suggest it within the conversation. I always say I'd love to be a fly on the wall to hear what their little round table is like when they're batting around these ideas. If you throw some thinkers in there that shake it up a little bit. But that is really, I think, what's happening right now.
Can I raise a very important point? It's the reason why Jay Powell won't stick around. And it's the reason why I think we're heading for a transformational chairman. The board staff, which runs the place, okay, everything, board staff, reports solely to the chairman or the chair. No one else. In fact, governors have to fight to get even one staff person as an assistant. It's a very odd start. It's completely different than the federal government, where you have undersecretaries and deputies and all the rest of it. The board staff, all of them, however many of them there. Okay. And it happens immediately. And all the hiring and firing, it's all done to the chairman's office, period, full stop. So Jay Powell, if he thinks he's going to stick around, no one's going to talk to him. Now, they would talk to him, but he has no authority. And they can't be seen helping him, because that's just not the custom at the Fed.
Okay.
I think it would just be too easy for him to say that he's not going to stay, and it would give everybody what they wanted to hear. And so he's just sitting on it right
But they should. I don't know why the Fed doesn't meet the subpoena, and then we can get rid of the subpoena. They have not yet given the documents over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Janine Pirro. It's a relatively simple thing. If you have nothing to hide, just show that, have a meeting, right? You know, it's like CSIS in one of those little police rooms, and you'll have two on one side and two on the other side. You can go back, well, where were you the night?
Little good cop, bad cop.
Just have that meeting, and then remove the subpoena, and then Jay Powell will go peacefully off into the night. All right?
Everyone's flexing here. That's
Maybe
the problem.
remove the subpoena first. Maybe don't do it.
Well,
Can we get in the Wayback Machine?
They shouldn't have done this.
We need a
Right,
time
that's
machine.
my point.
We need a time machine. Okay, so Time Machine says we got to stop here. But Larry Kudlow says it's going to be a transformational pick, and you're going to see changes at the Fed right away. So we will watch that.